Well, hey everybody, Backyard Scrapping here, and welcome to what is this, part 9? Oh my goodness. Anyhow, it's still the evening where I finished off our last part 8. I have about half of our chloride processed. Takes a pretty good while to do this, which is one of the reasons I don't like doing it, because I do it the same way, but it's more rinsing. If I can just drop it in copper and boil it in acid, I'm good to go. Anyhow, I've got these first 2 beakers set up with our HCl boil. I'm going to boil them off a little bit. I'm not seeing little to no contamination in it. We've got another beaker out there, a bigger beaker, that I'll put on when these 2 get done, but I'm still going to do it. And I'm going to convert this little bit of, not little bit, but about half, we still have about half of our silver chloride left to convert. These guys are dropping out pretty good, so they're almost ready to go. And that guy will go in this batch here, in this number 8 batch. So I just wanted to bring you up to date with where we are. I'm going to be going in soon, but I wanted to show you where we were at with this. We're pretty much just going to finish cleaning up, finish converting our silver, and then we're going to do our tally. So I will get back to you guys probably when we get inside. I don't know that this video is going to be a super long one, because there's really not going to be that much to do but tally up the silver and split it up. So we'll see you inside. Okay guys, before we get inside and tally things up, I want to go ahead and do this, check this aqua regia. This was the stuff that was left over. This is all of what we ended up with, our junk, or tungsten. It's not necessarily junk. I mean, maybe it's worth a couple dollars a pound. I don't know. I don't fool with it. Anyhow, so this was our aqua regia. If you remember, it started last video or video before last. Anyway, started it all the way up here. Well, I got it down to about 375 milliliters. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't have the camera stand out here because it's inside, because I'm getting ready to do the tally. But so I'm going to go ahead and just get a little bit of this stuff out of here, put it in here, and we're going to hit it with a little Stannis to see what we got going. So there's that. Let me stick that in there. I'm not used to doing one-handed stuff, so you got to bear with me, guys. Here is our test. I'm expecting a little, maybe a little change in color. I'm not expecting anything big. Probably just stock pot worthy stuff, but we're going to check it anyway. And there is a small change of color. It's turning, it's not black, it's actually a palish green. So it might be a little bit of palladium, it may be base metals, I mean it may be something else, I don't know, it may be a platinum, something in the PGM or platinum group metals, but it's not strong. And for that amount of, that actually was almost 900 milliliters. So reducing it down to less than half, and we're still only getting a reaction like that. I'm not going to fool with this. It's going to go in the stock pot, and that'll be that. So anyway, I just wanted you guys to see what kind of reaction we got off of it. Nothing major, and it's actually more cloudy. It's not so much like a metal, I don't know. It's probably a PGM of some kind. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get inside. I'm going to get this thing tallied up. We've got we got a little mess out here to continue cleaning up to get ready for the next refine. But anyway, I'll get back to you in just a minute. I'm going to be babbling for a while in there, so because I want to go through and explain some stuff. So we'll be back in just a bit. Okay guys, we're inside, and before I get to the tally, get this thing on the stand, I just wanted to show you something. If you remember that little tiny bottle of solution that I moved all over the place throughout this whole refine, it was from that big, that great big tall jar that I poured that, we rinsed the contacts and everything off, and the dust and crap that was on them. and then it took about a week total for it to actually settle out. And then I took what settled out of it, and I put a little dilute nitric acid in it, and then it was in that little bottle forever that you guys saw me. I kept saying I was going to do it, and I never ended up doing it. Well, I finally did it, as you saw, and I actually kept it separate, and I melted, and I converted the powder, and I melted out that. So we got this little booger is from that rinse water. Now, granted, it's not a lot, but this is what I'm also, I'm trying to show you, like I'll talk about in a minute, about where you find the metal. I mean, if you just pour things out, if we'd have just cleaned those and poured it out, we wouldn't have got that little bead of silver. Now, granted, it's not that much, once again. Let's toss it on the scale and see what it is. So it's 0.36 grams of silver. I think I said about a half a gram. But, so 0.36, 0.35 grams of silver. Was it worth it to do that? Not really. But the point is it wasn't worth it at the time, because I probably used more nitric acid than I needed to use just to get this, and I kept it separate, so it was kind of a waste of nitric acid. But what you do with that stuff is you keep it. You get the bottom, your swill or whatever you get, and just keep it in a jar until you get, an inch or 2 or 3 of that, that crap in the bottom of your jar. Then you process it, and you're going to end up with quite a bit of silver out of that, But in most cases, that's not, it's insignificant as one time. But if you keep and add that up and save that up and save that dust up and save the swill up and bring your rinse waters down and reduce your rinse waters, get the stuff out of the bottom of that and just put it in a jar and keep it, at the end of 2 or 3 or 4 years, you're probably going to have an ounce or 2 of silver, or whatever other metal you're doing for that matter. The thing I'm basically saying is don't just rinse something. Treat your water however you treat it, or treat your wastewaters however you choose to treat it, and then, neutralize it and toss it. There's something in this stuff. Granted, like I said, this isn't a lot. This was an experiment to see what we would get. So that does show you that we got a little tiny piece of silver out of that. All right, guys, let me get this camera set up, and we'll get to it. Okay, guys, here we are for the wrap-up. I'm not going to divide it out on camera. I mean, I'm going to go through the numbers with you, and then I'm going to go ahead and get it separated out. But anyway, so this was all of our other refines. Let me start at the beginning. This was our number 1. Okay, so this is mine, and this is his. This is what we did the experiment on those one-sided plated tungsten bars, whatever they were. So anyway, this was our 50-50 split. So that's completely separate. All right, this was all of our other stuff besides our number 8 batch. So that's in this jar. And this is our number 8 batch, which is the squares. What this is this was the stuff that was dropped with copper. And this was the chloride drop. I want you to notice the color of my chloride drops. This is because I also clean them up with hydrochloric acid, just like I do this stuff. Irregardless if it's chloride drop or not, hey, there might be something in it, there might not. I don't care one way or the other. Like I said earlier, my powder's pulling 4/9 fine, so I'm going to continue to do things exactly like I do. So anyway, this is our number 8. So what we ended up with was from the number 8. We started with, let me check this number one more time. 54923 divided by 648 equals 84, almost 85. So this was 85%. I thought I wrote that wrong. But anyhow, so like I said, that was from our copper for that, and this is our regular. Anyhow, these two actually were fairly normal. The rectangles, the squares, the soft alloy were alloy were close to normal. They came out at 75%. Our total numbers came out to, we started with, because we're not counting this 1,451 grams of those bars, because we only got, like less than, 10%, 9.7% out of those. So we're not counting that in this figure. So we ended up with, we started with 3,184 grams of material. This was raw material, or raw contacts. We ended up with a total of these, not counting this, of 1,678.83 grams, which gave us, let's see, I will figure the total here. So we have 1,678.83 divided by 3,184 equals, and it comes out to about 52%, which is what I figured. So that was not this one. So we had a total here of 52% yield from the main refine. Okay, so of that, because it's at 52%, I take my normal split, so 25%, but this is 52%, so I got to take 75 minus 52 equals 23 divided by 2 equals 11.5 grams. So I add 11.5 grams to my, now this is the old way, because anything, I'm doing one more silver contact refine with the old pricing. Anything after that, you have to go to the website and check it out, because of all the stuff that has to be dealt with. My prices were based on jewelry. Jewelry scrap, flatware, silver trays, some, stuff like that, candlesticks. That was my basis for my pricing. Contacts are much, much harder to deal with, and I'm getting more and more of them, and I'm getting less and less of the jewelry stuff. And I know why, because I did some research on the net. The big companies that are out there doing refining, if they refine your contacts, they charge you fees for cadmium, they charge you fees for this. Now I have a disposal, I have somebody that takes this stuff off my hands. Alright, what they do with it, I don't care. I know they recover some things. I know they probably get some rhodium, and they probably get some palladium or platinum group metals out of a lot of the stuff I give them, which is probably why they take it. But in any case, these large companies, first of all, if you're sending for silver recovery, you get your silver back. You're not getting your palladium, you're not getting your platinum group metals, that's a byproduct. That's not what you sent it for. So you're probably not going to get that back. You may not, depends on the company. Okay? The next thing is they're going to charge you fees for the cadmium and any other kind of metals that aren't supposed to be in there, over and above their refining fees. So you may by the time you're done, you may end up with 40, 25, between 25 and 50% at best of your material. Well, at the same time, I have to deal with all this stuff, just like this refine. I'm going to give an example in this refine. I kind of jotted down my actual work hours. Now I'm not talking about actual time. Actual time is through the roof. All right, but my actual physical outside working hours it was over 45 hours. Okay? So I have over 45 hours in that, and I have approximately $75 in materials tied up in this refine, which I'll go through at the end. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Anyway, so we have 52% yield total for this. It doesn't count this. This was separate. This was a 50-50 split. So I'm going to end up with, let's see, plus 25. So I'm going to get 36.5% of this refine. That's going to be my fee for doing it, which is actually still lower than my new fees are going to be. Anyhow, this was junk. This was that purplish junk. This is the slag from it, that glassy looking, which somebody in the comments said to try something. So I'm going to get a hold of Jerry and see if he'll let me hang on to this. Because I want to try that. I've got some stuff coming in to melt with this, and to try and see what else we can get out of that. So, and I mean, there's only like 15 grams of it there, so there's not that much silver. and I want to see how much actual rhodium is, see if I can get a solid metal button out of this without the slag, and then get it tested and see if there's more rhodium in it. So this was junk. Basically, this would have been thrown away. All right, and I don't want to make fun of rookie refiners or anything else, but let's say somebody who's going to do this fine, and I'm not making fun of rookie refiners. I'm trying to help you understand some things. This, by somebody who didn't save everything, these 2 pieces of silver would be gone. Okay, I'm going to show you something else that brings this up. You see this? There's just over an ounce of powder in here. Okay, this is actually going to get added to this. All that material right there, including this, I think there's 33 point something grams of material here, which is just over an ounce of silver. This is from the rinse water. The buckets of rinse water that I tell you I reduce down and then clean up, that's where this came from. So between these two, let's just see real quick what these 2 guys weigh. And I believe that was 30, yeah, that was 33, I got it right here. That was 33.92 grams plus 7 grams. So 41, almost say 41 grams right there. 41 grams of silver, damn near an ounce and a half. A lot of times is tossed in wastewater. Now I'm not saying everybody does that, but quick refines and things like that, if you don't save everything, reduce everything down and go back, now that's $40 worth of silver, $30 worth of silver, whatever it is, $30 worth of silver, simply from saving your water, letting it settle, processing it out, and getting as much as you can from the refine. So this is already figured into the refine. This actually is going to get added to that. So our yield ended up being, with this, we had a total of 1,712.75 grams recovered from this number, which gives us a total of 53.9%, which brings my end down a little bit more, another percent. So that works out well. So the way this refine works out, this is all together. Our total is, Jerry ends up with 1,103 grams of silver, and I'm going to end up with 609 grams of silver, which I'm just going to take 600. I don't care about the 9 grams. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. But you got to remember too, that works out to about $4 an hour after I take my material cost out in actual time. So as I've often said, this is a labor of love. This is a hobby. There's no way that you're going to do this, or that you can do this and come out profitable, other than the fact that I'm getting 600 grams of silver to add to my stack that didn't cost me anything but my time. But hey, time is money. If you can go out and work a job, or you're out working a job and you're making $20 an hour, why are you going to do this for $4 an hour? And this is probably harder. So anyway, I just wanted to go over that stuff with you and with you guys. One more thing I wanted to throw in. If we had not separated out these bars, this is where I'm going to show you why you've got to be very careful, and you got to know what you're sending, or have a general idea of what you're sending. If we just added this one refine, the number 1 refine, to the total here, it would have dropped us from 53.79% total yield to a 40% yield. It's actually 39.95 or something, but a 40% yield. So if I would have been doing that at proper numbers, this is what I would have ended up with. We would have had a difference of 30%. Would have added another, it almost would have been a 50-50 split. It would have been very close to a 50-50 split for the whole lot. So that is why, even though it's tungsten, even though it's, it takes less nitric acid, but there are other things involved. I mean, 45 hours, probably closer to 50 hours involved in this refine, and that's actual hands-on time. I mean, there's 8 videos, 9 videos, or this is the 9th video. Plus all the video editing and all that, that's different. That's my YouTube channel. But point being, I've got hours and hours and hours tied up in this refine for basically my end clear $240 worth of silver. Yeah, I do it for the metal. That's what I've said a million times in my videos. I do it for the metal. I don't do it for the money, and I enjoy doing it. But profit-wise, you know, I'm just trying to let you guys know that if you're out there doing this, and especially doing this kind of silver for profit, you're not gonna you're not gonna make money doing this. But that's irrelevant. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. This has been a very interesting refine. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had actually 9, counting this washout, you know, counting the recovery of our waste waters and waste solutions, actually 10 parts to this refine, or 10 different groups. So it was fun, it was real, and it was interesting because I ran into some things I never ran into before. I am going to, like I said, get a hold of Jerry, see if I can keep this. I'm curious about the rhodium. I've talked to a couple other people, and even in the comments, somebody who's very familiar with doing contacts was surprised by the rhodium content, because normally that's not in there. So maybe, you know, maybe some of this weird stuff that we had happen was, you know, because these are industrial or they're whatever. I have no idea. But anyway, I babbled long enough. Guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to take a few days off, and then we're going to get started. We have another, I don't remember what the order is, but we have another silver refine to do, a contact refine, a small one. We have a gold foil refine to do, plus a while back, a couple videos back, I showed you the foils that I've had that I had going since this winter, and I never did get to them for one reason or another. So I'm probably going to make a little quick video on that as well, and I'll probably do that next to get my stuff done again, because my stuff always gets shoved to the back burner. But anyway, and I've got some jewelry that's got to be done, you know, a little jewelry refine that's got to be done. So we'll probably do that as well. But I'm going to do my batch of foils that I have out there, and then whichever one of these other refines is next. The next silver refine is also, like I said, a contact refine. We will be doing that at the quoted fees. But anything from here on out, please go to the website. There's a link in the description. I think I'll put a link, you know, I'll try and put a link down here at the bottom. It's not a link, it'll be the thing, because I don't know how to do an in-video link yet. I'll learn how to do it, but I don't know yet. But I'll put the address down here. And go to the refining page when you get to the website, and you can look up the new fees. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Everybody take care, stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next video.